tonight, dozens of city council candidates intending to run has one group asking, should the city adopt ranked choice voting? Plus, taking care of those most susceptible to hepatitis A. A look at the work the city's Quality of Life Task Force does. Thank you for joining us. I'm Brittany Schaefer. Dozens of candidates have already announced their intentions to run for Worcester City Council and School Committee. The large turnout so far has the Worcester Research Bureau considering the question, should the city adopt ranked choice voting? The city hasn't used the method in decades, but the Research Bureau believes it could improve engagement in local elections. Our Cam Jandro is live in Worcester tonight. He joins us now with more. Cam?
Brittany, right now in an election, you're pretty much limited to voting yes or no for a candidate, but the Worcester Research Bureau believes that ranked choice voting helps create a more diverse point of view, not only for voters, but for candidates as well.
In what is shaping up to be an active election season, the Worcester Research Bureau is looking into the possibility of adopting ranked choice voting.
So even if your candidate is a long shot or clearly gets less votes than anyone else, your second place candidate would then get your vote.
Voters would rank the candidates in order of who they believe should serve. The Research Bureau says the system allows voters to be more specific than yes or no.
It allows voters to vote for who they really and truly want to see succeed, as opposed to having to vote strategically and pick a front runner.
Ranked choice voting was the method used in Worcester during the 1950s. It was eliminated due to the time it took to tally votes. However, this may not be the case anymore.
But because now we have, voter tabulators and electronic counting, that should no longer be an issue.
The change in systems would require adjustments to the current electronic voting, as well as a comprehensive education program for residents.
They're so important for what we do in determining who runs our government, and we're all about good government, and we thought this was an idea that people should know more about because it's not a really well-known thing.
More than 30 candidates have already pulled papers for the upcoming election season. For the city clerk's office, it's what they want to see.
There's a lot of interest being generated, which is a good thing. It's very important for a democracy, to have as many people run for office as possible.
Now, Maine was the first state in the country to completely adopt this system of voting. Ranked choice voting is only in one city or town in the state of Massachusetts, and that is Cambridge. Live in Worcester tonight, I'm Cam Jandro, Worcester News Tonight.
A Worcester state senator proposes a bill allowing 16 and 17-year-olds to vote in municipal elections. Senator Harriet Chandler sponsored the bill along with 2 state representatives. She says each community would have the choice to allow the teens to vote. Her hope is the younger crowd would be more educated and responsible when they are included in the voting process.
I have done it because I really think after a course in civic education, which they will have, the logical next step to allow them to have a voice and to vote. And I'm hoping that they will be well educated and involved and responsible.
And last week, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley proposed a bill which would allow 16 and 17-year-olds to vote in federal elections. Chandler says her bill is more conservative, but she supports both. In the wake of the Attorney General's recent settlement with numerous nursing homes, an assisted living facility in Worcester talks about how they keep their residents safe. Massachusetts AG Maura Healey says 7 homes across the state will pay a combined $500,000 in fines as a result of systematic failures which led to injuries or deaths. The Oasis at Dodge Park is ranked #1 in the state on caring.com. The residents say they are taken care of around the clock.
We have nurses around the clock. That's usually what makes us very uniquely different than assisted living, because we provide the nurses on site for 24/7. We have a CNA around the clock too. And myself, my partner, all my DON and ADON, they're also available 24/7.
And one of the nursing homes ordered to pay a fine is Beaumont Nursing Home of Westboro. The city's Quality of Life team is having a lot of success combating an outbreak of hepatitis A in Worcester. The group is making sure the most vulnerable populations are receiving vaccinations and access to other services they need. Our Anna Botari has more.
Worcester's Quality of Life Task Force was out Thursday, making contact with the city's homeless population. It's something they do weekly. Their mission is to connect homeless individuals with services.
We go
to certain sites. We go to the soup kitchen. We go to all different areas, try to reach out to individuals who need whether mental health treatment or substance abuse treatment, and try to really connect them with the services they may need.
Responding to a recent hepatitis A outbreak, Chief Public Health Nurse Pat Bruckman has brought vaccinations with her on the team's travels to help stop the spread of the disease. She says they've seen 59 cases since last June.
With our vaccination efforts between the Department of Public Health, AIDS Project Worcester, and all of our community partners, we've been able to, make some major headway, handing out over, 400 vaccines.
Bruckman says they've had great success in decreasing the number of hepatitis A cases in Worcester. She says they were seeing about 15 cases a month. They're now seeing 0 to 1.
Our vaccination efforts are proving worthwhile.
Team leader Dan Cahill says whether people accept the vaccinations or not, every time they go out, they're looking to make a connection with someone.
A long-term goal is obviously to get these individuals the treatment they need, get them into long-term housing and wraparound services.
Anna Botari, Worcester News Tonight.
The Worcester Union Athletics hosts a night celebrating outstanding women in the Worcester community. The event showcased 15 women who have contributed to the city through work and volunteerism. The Worcester Union is a group of 100 girls who play travel basketball and softball in the area who do community service projects in Worcester. Organizers say it's important for the girls to see the success stories from right around their neighborhoods.
I wanted our girls to be able to look at these beautiful and amazing women who have broken barriers in their own career paths and be inspired by them.
They deserve a night like this. They deserve strong role models to see, and women being awarded and women being praised for who we are and what we can do.
To make them believe that they can do whatever they want, they can inspire to be whatever they want, and there's no limits.
And the event is in celebration of Women's History Month. Suicide prevention leaders from across Massachusetts are honored at the State House earlier this week. One of them is a West Boylston woman who helped to organize a local group of volunteers. They respond directly to the scene of a suicide death. Our Rosalind Flaherty has more.
It's been more than 35 years since Barbara Brunzell lost her oldest brother to suicide, and she still thinks about him every day.
It never goes away. I mean, people, and that's the thing about suicide loss, is that you can't understand it unless you've experienced it.
Her brother Dan committed suicide when he was 17 years old. Brunzell says she was at a friend's house when her mom called and said Dan left a note.
I went home and a police officer showed up eventually and told my mom that they had found him and that he had died.
Brunzell says the loss was emotional and tough on her whole family. After the services, they never talked about it.
I really felt when I learned about this program that if we had had a LOSSteam show up with that police officer who told us and left, that we would have had a very different healing process.
Now she wants to help other families. She is the chapter founder and team leader of LOSSteam Metro West. It's the first program in the state where volunteers respond directly to the scene of a suicide death and provide assistance and comfort to families.
The instant that this happens, you think that you are alone and that no one else has ever dealt with this, and how can I possibly make it through? To have someone show up who has been through it and is standing there and has obviously, continued and is living with it and is really powerful.
The response team can be activated in several towns in Massachusetts through police departments. Earlier this week, the organization was honored at the State House as a suicide prevention leader. Brunzell says she's thankful to be able to help others, and it's also part of her healing process.
It's really an endless journey. It's just about trying to manage how you handle it.
And that was our Rosalind Flaherty reporting. New England's first Algorave is held tonight in Worcester. The live concert featured music and images created by real-time coding. Coding provides instructions for a computer to follow. The event is sponsored by Worcester Polytechnic Institute's Interactive Media and Game Development Program. Professor Charlie Roberts says it's a relatively new medium which incorporates art and coding together.
Things about live coding, thinking about not only being able to help people make music, help people make visual art, but also serve as a gateway to teaching computer science and programming through a medium that's more accessible to some people.
Algoraves have only been around for about 5 years. Robert says there will hopefully be more in the city soon. The Worcester Hibernian Cultural Center celebrating the area's Irish heritage Thursday night with music. The band Derek Warfield and the Young Wolf Tones played Irish songs to a full audience. The proceeds from tonight's event benefit the St. John's Food for the Poor program and the Worcester County St. Patrick's Parade. Parade committee member Marianne Doobie says their concerts are always a big hit.
They really portray the connection between Worcester's Irish and Ireland. It's amazing, and at this time of year we're so fortunate that they were able to join us on this night. It's just incredible, and to have this event a sellout crowd.
And Doobie says it's important to celebrate the rich history of Ireland in the city of Worcester.